Welcome to the Wayward Ornithopter channel, and today, in response to one or two queries in the comments section where people have asked me what do I take with me, what's my kit, I'm just going to give you a very quick spin through of some of the things I take with me when I go drone flying. It's usually in the car, and you may have seen the review I did of the MC case for the Bebop Pro. For the Bebop 2 and the Sky controller. And I won't go through it all again, but in here is the controller, the Bebop 2, 1, 2, 3, and underneath there 4 batteries, the mains charger, propeller replacement tool, the USB cable, and in this side compartment here there's a slot for the iPad that I used to fly. There's an adapter if you're using a smaller tablet like an iPad mini or a smaller tablet or a phone. And there's a sun visor which folds around the screen when it's in the Sky controller, which is a handy container for my spare propellers for when I'm stupid and crash. So in there I've got pretty much everything I need to fly. What I also have in there is a USB cable for the iPhone and iPad, which I simply use to be able to record screen grabs of the FreeFlight Pro application. There are native applications on Android devices where you can screen record, not on iOS devices. So I hook the iPad or the iPhone into my MacBook when I take it with me, and I can record screenshots. But otherwise, all I need is in there to be able to film and fly with the Bebop 2. But what else do I take with me? So here are some handy hints. The first thing is a very high-tech piece of equipment called a reusable shopping bag. Partly because I use it to bring my other stuff, and partly because if I'm flying in an area where the only landing zone is a bit muddy or long wet grass, this makes a really handy landing and takeoff pad. So just an ordinary carrier bag, one of the reusable canvas types, makes a great landing pad and a great takeoff pad. Stops the drone getting muddy and covered in water if you're in wet grass, when sometimes that's your only option for a good takeoff zone. I also use it to put in my other nice things. One of which is, and I live in the United Kingdom, so when I am envious of seeing you guys in your warmer, drier climates flying, I think of you when I'm sploshing through mud. One of the problems is you often get a lot of mud and gunk on the Bebop 2, on the drone. So I always have a carrier bag containing a damp cloth. Mainly so that if I do get mud all over the drone, I can clean it before I put it back in the case and cover everything with mud. So just a damp cloth, just to wipe things down with. And that goes in my bag. The other thing I take is a screen wipe. This happens to be a screen wipe that comes with an Apple computer, but you could use a spectacle cloth or a camera lens cloth. Something that's lint-free, won't scratch the lens, but make sure before you fly you give it a nice polish and you get nice crisp footage. So I always take that with me. And then the other bane of any drone flyer is power. So there's two things I have. One is, it can be frustrating when you remember to charge your batteries, your spare battery for the drone and for the Sky controller, and then your iPhone goes flat. For those of you on Android with better battery life, maybe less of an issue, but as an iPad and an iPhone user, power is often an issue. So I've just got a small, it cost me 30 quid, so it's about 35, 40 euros or dollars. This one's handy, it holds a good charge, so I can charge an iPhone off this anything up to 6 times. I can charge an iPad off it twice. So if on my way to the run I realise that before I fly my iPhone's running a little low, or if, as often happens, I'll drive to one fly zone, do a few flights, do a few flight plans, and then drive to another. While I'm driving to another, this can be in the bag with the iPhone recharging it. Well worth the $30 or $40, $50 if you can. And finally, a few people have asked me about these, and some people haven't heard of them. It's a power inverter, not a power converter. And this is a car adapter, so it just plugs into the 12-volt socket in your car. It even plugs into the 12-volt socket on my motorbike when I'm feeling adventurous. And it outputs mains power. So in the UK, that's 240 volts AC. In other parts of the world, you may work on 110 volt or a 240 volt system. But either way, on here, this end plate happens to be a UK power socket. Of course, they come with European and US and other international power sockets. So I can actually plug the Parrot battery charger that normally plugs into the wall at home. I can plug that into there, plug that into the car, and while I'm driving between flight zones, I can be charging my batteries back up to full. It doesn't charge them as quickly as powering them from the mains back at home, but it does put good charge into them, and if I'm driving for any decent time between different flight zones, I can get the batteries back up to full. This one also has 2 separate USB ports, so I can be charging my phone or iPad from that as well. So those, along with a foldable chair, because I'm very old, is what I take with me when I go flying the drone. The foldable chair, by the way, is quite handy for if it's wet and muddy or just nasty conditions. Somewhere to sit when you need to tinker with the drone, swap the props over, or tinker with your iPad or your smartphone and you want to fine tune or edit your flight paths. So having a chair with you, if you can get your hands on one, you can get them for £5 or £10 here. Just sling that over my shoulder, the MC case with all the bebop stuff in one hand, my trusty carrier bag / landing zone in the other. So those are just some of the tips that I've come across over the last couple of years flying drones. I hope some of them are useful to you. Please feel free to subscribe, leave any constructive comments or sensible questions in the comments zone. And meanwhile, happy flying!